We got a tough one today, y'all. But first, welcome back, welcome home. It's Justin, your local real estate agent. Today, we're going to be talking about the 40-year mortgage. And no, I did not miss you. Let's go. First things first, a 40-year mortgage is just what it sounds like. It's a mortgage that lasts for 40 years, as opposed to the more traditional 30-year mortgage that we're all accustomed to. Okay? 40-year mortgages do exist. They do exist in limited circumstances currently, but there has been some chatter about broadening this scope. But we'll see what happens. We don't know for sure. We'll see what happens in the future. But let's just talk about pros, cons, and when a 40-year mortgage may be the most beneficial to you if it's something that you're interested in the future. All right? First, pros. With a 40-year mortgage, because you have those 10 extra years over a 30-year mortgage, it could mean that you lock yourself into a lower monthly payment. So this is usually the primary reason people are big advocates of 40-year mortgages or interested in them in general, is just to get that lower monthly payment. And tied into that, the second big pro, tied directly into that, is with the lower monthly payment, right? We could be talking about debt to income ratio improving, which means now we can qualify for homes at a higher price point than we could if we only had a 30-year mortgage we were looking at. Okay? So, pro number one, lower monthly payment. Pro number two, potentially expanded options on our home search because we can get to a higher price point. Now let's talk about the cons, because you know the cons are legitimate and serious. First con that usually comes to mind, and higher interest rate. This is because a lender is taking on more risk when they do a 40-year mortgage, so they charge you extra for that extra risk, which means your interest rate goes up. And your interest rate could go up so much so that it actually means that a 40-year mortgage will wind up basically having the same payment as a 30-year mortgage for the same house that you're looking at, or even potentially a higher payment with the 40-year mortgage than a 30-year mortgage, just because the rate is that much higher, right? The interest rate makes a big difference. Second thing, which we can assume, is with let's say it's a higher interest rate and we're paying it back over a longer amount of time, that means that we're paying back more interest over the life of that loan. So a 40-year mortgage, that means you pay back more interest generally than a 30-year mortgage, right? Another con. Third con, potentially we're locking ourselves into a longer repayment period, right? So that debt is staying there until we sell the house, pay off the loan. We're gonna have it for 40 years. It's an extra 10 years. Maybe you buy your house at 30, right? And by 60, you'll be done with the 30-year. But now with the 40-year, you go till 70. And that extra 10 years could be a real big burden, right? So those are three big cons with 40-year mortgages that you're gonna hear about a lot. But when do we usually see them? Because, you know, I said they already exist. And you're like, I'm thinking in my head, I've spoken to a few different lenders. I've never heard about a 40-year mortgage. Okay. Good point. We got a point. Normally, we hear about them in two different contexts. First one, for investors. So if you're looking to buy an investment property, some lenders offer a 40-year mortgage as an investment loan product. Okay? Second way we usually hear about 40-year mortgages so far, because things could change, who knows. Second way we usually hear about them is for current homeowners who have some sort of financial issue and need either like a forbearance on their property or are seeking a loan modification specifically. This happened a lot after the Great Recession. People were underwater on their homes, or just they had lost their jobs, they didn't have a steady income. So now a 40-year mortgage became something that, you know, stretched out those payments, still had low rates relatively speaking. So the payments became lower, something that was more manageable for folks. That's usually the two contexts in which we see them. Maybe in the future we'll see more 40-year mortgages rolling out into like the residential side, the QM, the qualifying mortgage side. But as of now, we don't see that from what I see, right? But always consult with your mortgage professional for more information. Now, you know, I'm just talking, we're talking here, we're trying to see into the future here. We're talking this 40-year mortgage. When does it seem like it could be beneficial, right? Well, one, we kind of mentioned one category, investors. So if you're going to be buying a home, right, and you have tenants there who, or maybe it's an Airbnb or something, someone else is paying that mortgage for you, then okay, I locked in a lower payment. Someone else is there paying it for me essentially, while I'm maybe taking care of the maintenance, managing the property, all that good stuff. That's beneficial to me, right? I'd rather get the lower payment, increase my cash flow over X amount of years. If I need to refinance or sell later on, I can do that. Okay. Second option, we mentioned those homeowners who are struggling, who need that that assistance with the lower monthly payment. Third category, we didn't touch on it yet. Could be if you have a temporarily low income, but you are expecting an infusion of cash, a lot of cash very soon, right? So maybe you're waiting on a settlement, maybe you're waiting on an inheritance to finishing going through the whole process to get your inheritance, something like that, where it's going to be a big amount of money coming in at once, and you found that home you really like, maybe you're using it as an investment property, you found that home you really like, and then can't afford it just yet, but in 2 months time, when that payment comes in, you'll be able to afford it no problem. Well, hey, maybe you can afford it now with the 40 years as opposed to 30. You do that, and then you get your big cash infusion, and then you're all set, right? So what do you think? 40-year mortgage, should you be locked into a mortgage that long? Even a 30-year mortgage, I gotta tell you folks, I know we're in the US context, this is a rare creature, a rare vehicle that we have here. Most other countries, you don't see a 30-year fixed rate mortgage at all. And are we really gonna extend to a 40-year? Do you think it's something that could make sense for you, something that you would recommend we don't do at all? But let me know down in the comments below. Love to hear your thoughts on it. And we'll see if, maybe we talk about more potential future of real estate ideas and topics later on. But thanks so much for watching to the end. If you have any questions or concerns, of course, feel free to reach out. I'm always happy to help. And you can sign up using an intake form down below, or just reach out to me directly. Have a great day. Talk to you soon.